What's up, YouTube?
Hey, girlies. Hey, girls.
Oh, I guess I should put this back in.
Oh.
You can cut that part out.
You're a good mechanic.
Yeah, we'll do another take on that. Look at that transmission dipstick right there.
That's perfectly in place, right where
it belongs. Here's how we got our Burnout truck ready for Southern Ohio Smoke Show. We had a 2-week deadline, and we actually technically had a schedule. I think we did pretty good. I wanted to have it done Monday, but that didn't happen. What's today? Today's Wednesday. We had it done last night. Did a first test drive, ran real good, and then I let David drive it for 2 minutes. He made it 2 blocks up the road, and he broke the truck.
How?
The map sensor moved up.
He for sure did that.
Yeah. No.
He cut some wires. What is it with him?
I don't know.
It always breaks when he drives it.
I shouldn't let him drive this thing anymore.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one who pulled the camper to UCC, so.
Some of the other things that we upgraded this time around on the engine.
Just the stance.
We went ahead and swapped out the torque converter, which is not part of the engine, but it has a stage 3 BD transmission in it, but the converter was on its way out. So we did swap out the torque converter. We put a Goran triple disc billet. It's a 1800 stall converter. So that was one thing. The second thing we did, new BD manifolds, which I think we have a little clip of that. We already had BD manifolds on them, but they were rusted and pitted. They weren't sealing up. We had a little exhaust leak on the passenger side. Got that addressed. We did swap out the turbo again, put it back to a billet Borg Warner 467 turbo, and it has a forced induction compressor cover because the Borg Warner cover they sent us was the wrong one. It wasn't a V-band outlet, it was a straight flanged outlet, just used the forced induction cover. We did swap it back to a set of factory style heads. Aftermarket heads have valve seats in them, and for how hot we get this truck, we didn't want to have to deal with another drop valve seat. That's why we had to do all this work. Other thing we did, we put a Suncoast billet flex plate in it. I think that about covers everything. Oh, and we did the O-Dog corded intake manifold. That'll help us bring our temperatures down too. So we did put a new EGT probe in it, so we have accurate temperature on that. This is a lot more than 3 things. I was like, wait a minute, 'cause I got one more. And then we also swapped out the up pipes for a set of the Shane Ferguson up pipes from Point Zero Fabrication up in Canada.
Love
He's
this
the man. Other than that, for what we use the truck for, it does well. Just need to do some more cooling system upgrades to keep this thing from getting hot like it did last time. We're down here at the Smith's Diesel Performance, down at the shop, getting some preparation underway for the Southern Ohio Smoke Show. As you saw in our previous video, we blew the engine in the Burnout truck. Here we have the new engine. Clearances set and the crankshaft. We got the timing set for the cam and crank. Pistons, we got new piston rings put on them. So we're also gonna switch out all our rod bolts for ARP rod bolts. I've seen a couple of these break, especially at really high RPM. We're using Clevite bearings. These are a set of used Max Force 7 pistons that have had the bowls machined out, so we're going to use these. These came out of our first race truck, but then we pulled them out, and when we switched over to a larger camshaft in our race truck, we switched them out for the Kill Devil Diesel race pistons, and they fly cut them and they put bigger bowls to relieve some stress off the top of this piston. This is from almost 2 years ago when we took these out of the first race truck engine, and I saved these because I was like, they're $1,000 set of pistons, or maybe, yeah, about $1,000. So I was like, who knows? I only had 1,500 miles of runtime on them. I was like, who knows? Maybe one day I'll use them for another engine. And lo and behold, a 6.4 blew up. Who would have known? We got new lifters, we got all new main bearings, rod bearings, cam bearings, machined over 20 thousandths of an inch. Unfortunately, our billet oil pump from Warren Diesel got pretty well smoked. So a decent amount of metal made it into the lubrication system. That is not good. I am gonna buy another one from Warren because I do like running the billet oil pump, especially since we're turning this thing so hard and at very high RPM. Those oil pumps are known to break, you know, over 4,200 RPM. I'm trying to think of ways to keep this engine alive longer. What happened was actually nothing internal, like to the original bottom end even failed. It was the cylinder heads we purchased, so I guess this is something to just be aware of. Now, I don't know if this was just a manufacturer defect. You know, the heads had been on the truck for 9,000 miles before this happened, so I'm really thinking we just got it a little hot because the heat tabs on the end are melted out. What happened to the truck was the coolant cap actually went bad. I thought we blew a head gasket, but we pulled these heads off and the gaskets were like perfectly intact. I mean, we could have cracked the cylinder head. I think the coolant cap failed. Now, you know, a cooling system, if it's not pressurized, it will not be able to maintain boilover protection. That's why you have a 16 PSI cap. Pressurizes the cooling system as it gets up to temperature. Any excessive pressure will just be relieved. Now, ripping on something from, you know, cold temperatures, 120 degrees, and you're getting that thing to 190, 200 within a minute, 2 minutes, well, you build a lot of coolant pressure in a very short period of time. So I think what happened was our cap just went bad. So we are gonna get a high performance cap, probably gonna order a Mishimoto coolant cap. These have removable valve seats that have O-ringed heads from DK engine parts, are pressed and hardened valve seats. And what happened on cylinder 7, the valve seat dropped. So we got this thing hot. This is the first time that it ever caused a problem. It smoked the motor. I mean, this valve seat dropped, chewed up the valve, chunks of that fall into the cylinder. Here's what the piston looked like. That's what happened to our piston. And multiple chunks of that also made its way into the turbo. Well, not really. I pulled the old turbo out. It's sitting over there in that box and it looked fine. It was just a slow progression of failure. We got everything disassembled off the old engine, got everything cleaned. Hoping to have this thing, today is Sunday, hoping to have this thing fired up tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon. I'm gonna just try and get this bottom end dressed out, get the oil pans on it, front and rear cover, rear main seal, lifters, a new oil cooler for it. Anytime you have any engine failure, you gotta replace your oil cooler. You cannot flush those out. And then we're gonna delete the CCV tube like we did on the race truck, the CCV drain tube, I should say. You have to have a CCV. We already got the mains torqued. He spins over nice and smooth, like butter. If you go to turn this crank over and you can't turn it by hand after you set your mains, you have a problem. I mean, you'll have some resistance, but like this one takes very, very minimal effort. 2/1000ths of an inch of main clearance. Little builder tip. We use Plastigauge here. It's just quick and easy to use Plastigauge. I've had really good success with it. Call me old school maybe. This motor was line honed by our machinist. We also torque plate hone tops of these. So we have a torque plate from some guy in California. This is something that we always do on all our builds actually, 6064. Put the torque plate here, we put all our ARP studs in, and then we torque them to spec, and then the finish hone, because the stress pulls on these cylinders a little bit, and we'll actually put these out of round. That's something we do. We have our machinists do that. We wanted our race truck, any customer truck we build, to be torque plate honed. It was about 1,200 bucks for a torque plate. Well, I'm gonna get to building this engine. There we go. Progress update. Bottom end is together. Now these are not brand new pistons. These have about 1,000 miles on them. We did do a new set of rings on these. These came out of our first shop truck engine. Got the clearances set, got the ring gaps set. Set them a little on the looser side. Piston to wall is around 6/1000, a little bit looser than your typical, but we're just leaving more room for oil. I mean, that's really what it is. This engine turns at a lot higher RPM than your normal 6.4. If we're setting one up for a daily driver truck, we're gonna set all these clearances a bit tighter. I set the piston to wall at 4/1000. Mains are 1.5 thou, rod bearing 2 thou, but these ones are all a little looser. We're running a billet oil pump on this, really high RPM. We've never had issues with oil pressure. Put new cam bearings on our original cam lifters. We let them soak overnight, and then we're gonna flip her over, get the pans on it, front rear covers, get the motor mount. I'm gonna get a plug for this. If you worked on these 6.4s at all, these CCV tubes get really brittle and they'll crack. They're a nightmare. Well, not a nightmare, but they're just time consuming. That's a big thing with 6.4s. They're just time consuming more than anything. A little trick we found. You know how like the 6.0 standpipe kits, 6.0 H-pop kits come with this little plug, perfect size. So you can just pop one of these in there, bam. CCV tube, delete, no more braking. You just leave the tube out, cap it off at the top. This is only if you have a CCV delete. So you can't do this on a truck that still has that box up top. You can't just cap that off, or else your oil will have nowhere to drain, and all the oil that it separates is gonna just push right back into your intake. So we're gonna get the lifters in it, we're gonna get it flipped back over and get the pans on it, keep moving on this thing. What is it?
That's a Usinator.
The starter.
It starts your vehicle.
You know how it works though?
I know that mine and the Fusion doesn't work on occasion.
Look at you, you're a full-blown mechanic. Have fun yet?
Yep, best day of my life.
You know what that does?
Conducts electricity.
It's not completely inaccurate. It's just slightly inaccurate, but
How is it slightly inaccurate?
I mean,
There's a bunch of wires in it.
It communicates information.
Yeah, and how do you communicate information? You conduct electricity.
Through pulse signal modulation.
Yeah.
It's not
And what does that require? Electricity.
Motor mount.
The motor mount. The motor mount.
Good. There you go.
All done?
Drop your first engine.
Wow! That was way easier than an oil change.
You think so?
Yeah. I know so, because I lived it.
Here's a progress update on the Burnout truck. Just about done with the engine. Got the engine back in, new cylinder heads on. Did do a few other little upgrades while we had it in here, along with a billet flex plate and a new billet converter. O-Dog's Performance intake manifold. We got a new Borg Warner S467. Got a forced induction cover on it. We bought a super core and a new AR, 90 AR housing for the back. And we went ahead and swapped out both of the up pipes for a set of 0.0 fabrication built by Shane Ferguson. We also did a set of BD manifolds, new manifolds. We had BD manifolds on it before. They were very rusty and we were having some difficulty keeping them sealed up. We put a RCD oil filter housing delete that relocates here. You can see it a little better now with the cab off, obviously, but it just relocates your filters to the frame and uses two filters, a 21-734 Napa filter and a 1259 hydraulic filter, which the hydraulic filter is a lower micron. That's a bypass filter. Just about got this wrapped up. Got the fuel bowl delete reinstalled, put a new drain tube on the turbo. It had a crack in it, was leaking a little bit, and along with a new water pump. That about covers everything. So we're gonna get this cab put back down and get the truck buttoned up and back together for this weekend. Well, there's gonna be a little bit of a cut in the content because we went from the cab up and the motor completely tore apart to the truck completely back together. This is about to be the first fire up of the new motor. This is just to pre-prime the lubrication system. That's the third time we've done that. Now we're not gonna beat on the truck because it's a new engine. So you're supposed to do a break-in period, but an old wise man once told me that you have to break them in how you're gonna use them. Because if you baby it during the break-in period, then
It's gonna be a baby.
It's gonna be a baby.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go hit some burnouts.
Not looking good.
Maybe not. It's running pretty good. Actually, this is the best it's ever run since since I've owned it. But
Really?
yeah, I don't have it turned up all the way. Our 4 tune levels,
Yeah.
and we've got it on 3 of 4.
What are you feeling that's super different than?
I think the two big things is the torque converter. The old one was going out, so it's like when you have a failing torque converter, you don't have full power transfer from the engine to the transmission. The torque converter lockup was like really it would really bog the motor down hard.
Unlock my window! a big pain.
I should wait. Be patient.
Don't let the too much gene take over. It's so easy to do. Stay out! Get out and stay out! Yeah?
Right here.
What? Who's gonna know? In this person's parking lot? While a person's coming? We will not be doing a burnout there. What is going on, people?
We got all sorts
Is this a truck meet or what?
Yeah.
Call this FP Truck Fest.
Yeah.
Oh! Not as bad.
I trust the fusion suspension more than
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
This was not us, but we
No.
heard there's this guy.
This
doing
guy.
Burnouts
Yeah.
back here. Whoever did those deserves a trophy.
Nobel Peace Prize
Yeah.
for community service.
Yeah. Seal coat.
Repaving the road.
Yeah, steel coat services.
Yeah.
So
For free.
He was doing it for free.
I mean, he's
Don't even
basically the Batman of
Yeah,
burnouts.
it actually cost him money. Maybe we could do one little burnout.
Just one.
A little one. Because we got to test it.
Just
before
a
this weekend.
little.
What if we blow it up?
That's pretty solid. Yeah. It's a mean, angry sound, and then it goes. Oof, 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 oof. It's like. It's like ripping a mean fart and going, excuse me.
I didn't even look at what my temperatures were while I was doing that.
Oh,
I'm supposed to be doing that.
you're just enjoying yourself too much?
Yeah.
You're trying to outdo the Batman of burnouts.
That was a good one. Made it back from Mexico. Had a great time. Little short weekend vacation.
Yep.
We had this imported down to Mexico, just brought it back.
Yep.
And yeah, so we're gonna have David clean this thing out because he left all his trash in here from UCC. And a bunch of Kit Kat wrappers, and then we see Jack's stolen good ads. Stupid content.
No, do it. What is it? What is it?
He stole this from mid-Michigan.
Uh-huh.
He went up there and they said, like, oh, don't take the tray if you're gonna leave. He got
What
some,
is that tray for?
He got some chicken nuggets.
Yeah.
And they gave him this tray, and they're like, well, you can't leave with the tray. He's like, okay, I'll be right back. And he just was like, I was like, where'd that tray come from? And he's like, don't worry about it. You gotta get this thing all cleaned up for the weekend.
Yeah, look how nasty that is. Ew. Ew.